Hello guys and welcome back on DevOps with Yannick. Today's episode gonna be the more resourceful on Docker topic. We're gonna talk about how you should proceed in order to setting up your Docker container with a volume. But more, we're gonna talk about the two main options that we have in order to use volume. The first one going to be the using of the volume when we are executing directly our container from a DockerHub repository for a DockerHub official page. And the second one going to be where we're going to use a Dockerfile that we're going to build from scratch. So I'm going to explain you everything that you need to know in order to build your Dockerfile, and then build your image based on that Dockerfile, and finally push your image on your DockerHub account. So before to start, I would like to remind here what is the role of a volume. A volume in the Dockerization or in the Docker environment has for purpose to keep your data even if you kill your container. So everything that you're going to do on inside your container going to have some kind of backup on your server side. So you should be able to reuse the same content on another container if you want it on that one. Or just say you would like to have a follow-up on everything that you are doing on your container, on your environment. You are able to mount your container on a volume. You are able to mount many containers on the same volume. So this video gonna be so resourceful. So I'm gonna invite you to watch this video until the end. Okay, so let's get started. So we're gonna start by checking on how Docker parameters are looking on our server after installation. I've installed Docker in the previous video, and right now I'm going to cd change directory, cd to the directory of Docker on my server, and you're going to see the main one that I have. So you can watch that video that are showing up in order to see. You can see that in this directory you're going to find the container directory, image directory, volumes directory, and so on. So once you have installed Docker on your computer, you should be able to have that directory with all these components. Okay, so let's move on our home directory right now, and we're going to start by checking on our network information. Run the command ifconfig, and you can see that we're going to have a section for Docker 0. This is the section going to provide. This is the section that's going to provide all the information about Docker networking. So you can see right there the gateway that we're going to use with Docker, and you can see the net mask. You can see the information about what is net mask that is showing up there. You can drop a post and just read it deeply. So classes inter-domain routing, you have the different level 24, 16, and so on. So I just want to walk you through what is the main characteristic of networking Docker information. So let's run our first Docker container right now using the docker run -d -name. I provide the name, -p provide the port, internally 19, externally 18. HTTPD is the container that we are running. So you can see we have that output that is showing up directly. Okay, so when I run Docker PS, I'm able to see that container showing up upstairs. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is IPA. IPA going to provide also all the information about the network. I just get the IP address on port 19, which is the external port, that the internal port that we use, and we were able to see the image that we got, right? So right now I'm going to run docker ps once again. Then I'm going to run docker exec -it in iterative mode. Just use the three first component of my container ID and precise bash, which is the language that we are going to use. Then when I'm going to make cd, I'm going to change my directory to the directory that's going to contain everything that's going to be shown on the internet. It's user local Apache 2 and inside the htdocs. So if I list that one, you're going to see that we have an index.html file with the message "it works." This is the message that you saw in a couple seconds ago, right? So you just want to move forward right now, and I'm running docker inspect right now to provide container details. So based off that, I'm going to be able to get the IP address of my container. You can see that only the two last component of my IP address can change, and you are able to see also everything else. You are able to see the gateway on the top of it there, which is the one that we saw on the Docker network information. So if I'm creating another container right now, you're going to see that we're just going to move forward on another container. You're going to see that the IP address going to be almost the same. We're going to have only the last component that's going to change on our IP address as well. Okay, so that's what I would like to do right now quickly. So I'm going to run another container using HTTPD, but I'm going to change the port right now. And also note that you have to change the name. You couldn't use the same internal port, you couldn't use the same name. If you do so, you're going to have an error. So you see right now I have 03 by the end. So you see, so that's it. So yeah, I just want to let you know that using Docker and containerization, you're going to be inside the network that the Docker engine is handling, and everything going to be about that. You're going to have that basic network information that's going to be followed. Okay, so let's move forward right now and let's create our Docker volume. Okay, the command to create our Docker volume is docker volume create. I did a mistake right there. As you can see on my ChatGPT page, it Docker volume create the name of our volume. I'm going to call my volume. Okay, so I'm going to run that command, docker volume create my volume. So after that, the volume is going to be created. Docker volume create my volume. Awesome. You see, it's showing up directly right there. So once I did that, I will be able to attach it, to mount it on a container when I'm running it directly. Okay. Yeah. So let's see what we have here right now. I'm going to try to run a Docker container. But before that, yeah, let's run it. Docker run -v is the one that we're going to use in order to mount a container, exactly like you can see here on my ChatGPT page. So you use the -v, you provide your volume name, column, and you provide the pathway of your index.html file inside your container. So on my server side, I'm using my Alma Linux server right now. I drop it inside my root directory, my root directory. So that's why you can see the // my volume, and I'm going to put column, and I'm just going to provide the pathway of my index.html file inside my server side. So don't forget, our server here is HTTPD. Okay, so Docker is just awesome, guy, and you're gonna love everything that we're gonna talk about this video. Like and subscribe to this channel if that kind of topic is your cup of tea, your cup of tea. Sorry. So you can see after I provided that pathway, I'm going to provide the port. Internally is 100 and externally is 18. And I'm going to provide finally my image HTTPD, and you can see the long container ID that I have. I can use only the 3 first component of this ID to proceed with some operation on this container. So if you see me, if you can see me use only these 3 first component, so most of the time, just know that yeah, we are allowed to do that. Okay. So when I run Docker PS, I'm able to list all my container. You can see that I have my container. Okay, so I'm going to use the 3 components in order to log in inside that container. And right now I'm going to cd inside my user local apache 2 htdocs, and when I list right now, nothing is showing up. Yeah, it makes sense because we didn't use, because we have mount our volume. Okay, when we mount a volume, yeah, by default nothing gonna show. Okay, so I'm gonna create this file love that gonna contain love you all using the redirect command. And when I list, you can see that I have love right now. I'm gonna exit that container and come back on my server side, and you're gonna see that we're going to be able to find that same file inside our my volume directory. So exactly as I said in the introduction, that one going to work like a backup. Okay, so it's going to work as a backup for our container. So when I cut my volume love, you can see love you all. Awesome. So that's a little bit it about that first part of this exercise, of this tutorial. So I'm running Docker PS again, and I'm going to show you the fact that we are able to mount many containers, different containers on the same volume. So I'm going to launch another container now and just change its name and his internal port. And you're going to see that you're going to be able to get exactly the same output. That the same output, that output going to look exactly that like the one that you got before. So that's a little bit it. Let's see that quickly. I have 2.1b. Okay, I can log in. So I just going to put the 3 first component of the container ID. Enter key, and let's move on the directory htdocs of this new container, and you're going to see that we're going to have by default our love file. Why? Because we have mount it. We have mount that container on the same volume that that the previous one has been mounted as well. So let's move on that directory quickly, and you're going to see that you have exactly the same content. So that file love. Docker is just powerful, and it's just the beginning. So subscribe and like this video, because yeah, the Kubernetes stuff gonna come pretty soon, and I'm almost sure that you're gonna love it. So let's continue right now, and you see When I move on my CD volume, you can also add resources inside your container directly from your Docker volume directory. So let's create, for example, here our index.html file, and I'm going to provide a line of code on that HTML file. And you're going to see that when I'm going to try to access it online using the external port, the internal port, you're going to have exactly this output. So that one just going to let you know that you are able to add a content inside your container using your volume as well. So let's see that quickly. So with HTML, the syntax looks most of the time like that. I'm going to use the either one, open and close, and welcome on DevOps with Yannick between them. So I'm going to run Docker PS once again in order to make sure that I get the good internal port is 1000. Okay, and move back on this side. I'm just going to change 19 by 1000, and you're going to be able to see the message welcome on DevOps with Yannick. So it's awesome. Everything is working 100% good. So right now we're going to move on the next step. Okay, we're going to move on the next step right now. Welcome on DevOps with Yannick is showing up as well on the one that got 100 because they both are using the same volume. So you can understand the importance of volume on your software development process. Okay, provide your question in comment if you are not understanding really good. Okay, I'm going to be happy to answer all your questions. So right now I'm going to remove a couple container, and I'm going to use the option -F in order to force the destruction, because I would like to move on the next point of this video right now. You can see that when I have deleted the container, I couldn't access them online anymore, right? It makes sense, right? So let's write our first Docker file right now in order to build our own image. So I started by run the Docker PS command once again. Then I'm going to create my Docker file. Okay, but before that I want us to move on the DockerHub quickly. Okay, DockerHub, if you don't have an account on DockerHub yet, let's create your account, guys. It's going to be really helpful. So I type for search for HTTPD official, and you can see that we have more than 1 billion of downloading. So supported tag and respective Dockerfile link, you can see you have a lot of options right there. For instance, you're going to use the 2.4 version, but when I click on one of them, the 2.4 version, for instance, you can see what we have inside it. Okay, so you can see you can move on your DockerHub website as well, and just take your time to watch all of this. What is an HTTPD? Okay, you can drop a post and read the Apache HTTPD server. Colloquially called Apache, is a web server application notable for playing a key role in the initial growth of the World Wide Web, originally based on the NSSA. So just drop a post and read it all. How to use this image in the Docker file concept. This image only contains Apache HTTPD with the default from upstream. Okay, there is no PHP installed, but it should not be hard to extend. On the other hand, if you just want PHP with Apache HTTPD, see the PHP image and look at the Apache option and so on. So create a Dockerfile in your project. You're going to have to use the from HTTP 2.4 if it's that one that you want to use. And on the copy option, you're going to run this command and just replace the public HTML by your source that you would like to copy. And you can say then run the command to boot and run the Docker image, docker boot -c, the name of your image and the dot after. Docker run after that, going to run your container. So there is more information downstairs. Yeah, you can read a little bit. If you don't want to include the Dockerfile in your project, it is sufficient to do the following. Okay, so if you don't want to include the Dockerfile in your project, you can run that command line directly, and you're going to have the same output. To customize the configuration on the HTTP server, first obtain the upstream default configuration from the container. So yeah, they're explaining a little bit how you can move from an existing container to another one that you're going to build with your Dockerfile. So that's a little bit it. Okay, so let's take your time, move from DockerHub, try to check on different images that you're going to find over there. Right now it's HTTPD, but you're going to find images for Nginx, everything. Okay, you'll be able to find an image for everything on DockerHub. So let's familiarize yourself with all that. Okay, guys. All right. Thank you. So let's create our Dockerfile right now. I'm using the touch command. I could use Vim directly as well, because Vim going to create the file and open it directly. So inside, I'm going to start with from instruction HTTPD colon 2.4, exactly the one that DockerHub provided us. Okay. Then I'm going to add another component before to come on copy line, copy command. Okay, so use label for metadata instead maintainer. I remember 3-4 years ago we were using only label on this section. We were using only maintainer on this section, and everything was working good. But yeah, today we're going to use label maintainer because it's the one that is working. Okay, so that's a little bit it. Then you're going to proceed with the copy command to copy our index.html that we already have inside our image that we're going to build. So copy your index.html to the correct Apache document root. Okay, so we are using the copy instruction /, the name of our file index.html, and space. We provide our target server, our target container. So it's exactly what they provided us in the previous video. Okay, so let's do that. And the HTTPD image typically has a default CMD to start Apache, but you can explicitly define it if you wish. So we don't have to. I'm just going to keep it like that. Okay. Then right now I'm going to be able to run my command docker boot -c, the name of my image. I'm going to call it my Apache app. I forget the dot, space dot, and just validate it, and you can see I have my image that has been built. When I run Docker images, I have my image that has been built, and I'm going to be able to run a container based on that image directly if I want, even if I didn't push it on the DockerHub yet. Okay, I can use it locally already. Okay, so I think that I'm going to do that, and you can see that the tag is showing up layers. It's showing up layers because I didn't give a precision about the tags that I would like my image to get. So I can use the colon option and add 1.0, and right now when I'm going to list my images, you're going to see that I have another image with the tag 1.0. So this concept going to be so useful in the next episode on our DevOps pathway. So make sure to understand this, and you're going to love how it's going to be helpful on the next step. Okay, so I'm going to run a container based on one of my images that I have created. So docker run -z --name yarn apache -p on internally on port 2000 and externally on port 18. Okay, when I run docker images, you can see the images that I have. So I'm going to run a command right now. I'm going to run a container right now based on the image that I've created. Okay, so the name of my container, I can use the image ID or the image name, is the same. Okay, when I run docker ps right now, you can see that I have my container that is working. So let's try to access it online now. We have it works. That means that there is a mistake, there is an error on our docker image, because normally we should have something that get the message that I've provided. Thank you for watching. So let's see what's going on here. We're going to troubleshoot quickly. The troubleshooting is a component of a DevOps engineer life, so it's good to have some challenge sometime. So that's why I keep it inside that tutorial. So we're going to try to troubleshooting the issue together. Okay, so I think that the main issue here should be about the pathway that I use inside my Dockerfile. Seems like this pathway is not the good one. Okay, I think that I confused the pathway, and yeah, I'm going to try to double check and make sure that this pathway is the good one. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Index.html is thank you for watching. So normally we should have thank you for watching on our browser inside that directory, but seems like it's not the good directory that I've provided when I was building my Docker images. I think that I'm going to log in inside one of my container that I've created, and I'm going to try to change. Let me change first here. I think that the good path is user local apache htdocs. Yeah, this one is the good path. Yeah, that one should be the good one. So let's build another container based on this and see. Okay, yarn httpd. I'm gonna try to Let us clear up a couple one of them, and don't worry guys, we're gonna figure it out. Docker images, we have the image that we have created. Let's delete a couple images. Okay, I think that we have to close some container before to be able to delete these images. All right. Docker build -c using our new image. I'm going to provide the version 2.0. Oh, I forgot the dot. 2.0 space dot. Docker image it. Okay. 2.0. Okay. Docker run. Let's run that image. Docker run -d dash name Apache -p internally on port 3000, externally 18 yarn httpd. Okay, so we have our container right now. So let's try to access it. Oh, it's still not working. So it's not working because we didn't fix it 100%. The issue that we got with the pathway. When I log in inside my container here, when I'm moving, you can see we have our index.html, but you can see we have Apache 2, but I just add Apache. That's why we still have it works here. So we didn't build it right because of that mistake on Apache 2. We have to add that Apache 2 inside our Docker. We have to add that 2 inside our Dockerfile. So we have Apache 2 right now, and I'm going to save it. Yeah, everything should be good now, guys. So sorry to waste you a couple seconds. Everything should be good now. Yeah, I was completely out. Yeah, so that's it. Right now I'm going to build it again with a different image name, and I'm going to build a container from it, and you're going to see that everything going to work. We're going to have the good message right now. Okay, so okay, let's launch our container now. Okay, I think that we're going to have a mistake right there. Yeah, because I already used the yarn Apache and I didn't delete it completely after. So we have to run a container that doesn't have the same name. You always have to choose a different name, a different internal port, and so on. So you can see that everything works now. We test Apache. So I'm going to try to access this using the internal port, and you're going to see. Thank you for watching. So it's just awesome. Thank you. I'm so happy to be with you guys that are watching until here. So we're going to continue right now. I'm going to show you now how we can build a different version of our container. Okay, I'm going to change a couple stuff. We are already good on this one on our Dockerfile. I'm going to vim inside my index.html, and I'm going to add a new line with a level 2, either 2 inside my HTML file. and I'm going to add a new line in order to create another image, another version of our image with some upgrade, with some update, and so on. So this video going to show you a little bit the contest, okay, how you can see every day online people build the version 1 of ChatGPT. After that, they're going to upgrade on the version 2, on the version 3. So that's a little bit the process that we are using for that, okay. So I'm so happy to share that with you because that kind of stuff I will be happy to know all of them when I started with this Docker stuff, okay. So Docker images option 4.0, and you can see, okay, you can see that we have that image. I'm going to try to run a container based on that image right now. Awesome. Docker PS, awesome. Alright, let's access it online. Okay, there is a mistake. I did a mistake on my HTML file. So let's jump inside. You can see I have an extra graded and sign, so I take it out and save it. And I'm going to build my image once again using a different name, setting a different version, okay. So I'm going to call this version the version 2.1. I'm going to provide a tag. So docker build -c, the name of our image. I'm going to call this one Eon HTTPD version 2.0, 2.1. Yep. I'm going to validate it after the dot. Okay. So we are good right now. When I'm running Docker images, you can see our image. So that's on our container based on this, and you're going to see that everything going to work 100% now. Docker run -z, which means in detach mode --name to provide a name. Cam Apache -p to provide the pro on internally 7000, externally 18. Yan HTTPD 2.1, awesome. So it's just awesome. I'm going to try to access it online right now, and you're going to see everything works 100%. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. So you can see that everything is working 100% right now, okay. Let's push our first image on DockerHub right now. For that, we're going to start by logging on our DockerHub account using the docker login -u, the name of our account on DockerHub, and we're going to validate it. Push the email button. They're going to ask you to provide your password. You're going to provide your password quickly. Login succeeded. So right now I'm going to run the command docker tag. This is the first step before to run the docker push command. We're going to run the docker tags where we're going to provide the name of our image, and we're going to provide the name of our DockerHub account / the name of this image, and we can provide also the version. This version is the version 1.0 or 1.0. So that's what I'm going to provide right there, and I'm going to validate it. Awesome. So after that, we're going to run our last command in order to push it. Docker images, just to check my image again. You can see it's the last one that you have created using the docker tag. So I can do now docker push, provide that repository image, that repository name, and just validate it. And you can see using default tag latest, the push refer to repository docker .io. You see the name of my DockerHub account. Tag does not exist. They provide the latest, no problem. The push refer to repository dash, you can read, you can drop a post and read everything. 1.0 digest SHA, okay, you can see all the detail of our image. So when I refresh my DockerHub account now, you can see 1 minute ago I have my new yarn.httpd available, and this image is available for everybody that want to run a HTTPD server and have the same message that I have provided. I'm going to show you the message once again, so you can come and copy and execute it, and you're going to have thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you have learned something new in this video. So thank you, and I'm so happy that you were able to learn all this with me today, and I'm going to invite you to subscribe, and see you on the next video for the topic, for more interesting topic. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and bye.